Lojistic is our featured innovative supplier guest today, and the topic, like you see on the screen, is how to reduce and control parcel costs. And we have Doug Austin, our CEO, here for some opening comments in just a moment. Doug, take it away.
Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Happy Thursday. This is going to be a good session today. Everybody has transportation expenses, small parcel, FedEx, UPS, U.S. Post Office, and those costs seem to grow all the time, whether your volume is increasing, but more often than not, your rates are increasing. So let me just talk a minute about this webinar series. We started this about 2.5 years ago, and I think we're somewhere in the neighborhood, there's a zip code of about 60 webinars. We do this in various expense categories. We do it in audit and recovery categories, which this fits into both the rates that you pay for parcels and the opportunity to recover any overpayments. And we also talk about new revenue opportunities as well. Our objective here is to, after we have had some experience with innovative suppliers, to pass on their expertise, their contact information to you, the client of ours or the prospect that's considering strategic source, so that you too might be able to make better decisions and reduce your costs and improve profitability. We're honored today to have Rich Harkey, Director of Corporate for Logistics. And at the end of this, we'll have a couple of concluding comments. The webinars will be made available on our website. And then we will provide some contact information for logistics to you as well. So with that, I'll turn it over to Rich.
Thanks for the introduction, Doug. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. So what we're going to learn today, how to identify ways to reduce your shipping costs, why you might be overpaying for your parcel shipping, and how to analyze your shipping data. So let me just start with an overview. So who or what is Lojistic? Lojistic is an analytic and cost-saving automation platform that helps businesses control and reduce shipping costs. Companies use Lojistic to self-manage the decisions being made within their shipping operations and identify opportunities for improvement. We also have some in-house services to support operational executions. With that, I've got we've been in existence since 2005, and give you a little bit of understanding on who we are. We've got a very short video here from our one of our co-founders and CEO, Luke Coopersmith. And yes, that is his real hair. So if you can go ahead and play the video.
There are so many variables that are a part of getting a package from point A to point Z, and historical shipping data captures all that complexity. Buried within it is some incredibly powerful information for a business. Information that can affirm what's working well and what's not working well. For example, you can illuminate where your customer's buying experience may be suffering, and definitely where money is being lost and can be recovered. Lojistic is a layer of technology that lives alongside any system or vendor that a business currently has in place. It can also consolidate or replace some things too, if you wanted to. But your Lojistic account pulls in your company's chaotic and complex and dense historical shipping data and instantly converts it into actionable information that can literally inform the future of your business, and even more so, enable and facilitate some very meaningful cost savings. You can identify and solve carrier-related issues. You can pinpoint problems with shipping operations that you control and can improve. Lojistic helps thousands of companies around the world save millions of dollars every year. And it only takes a minute or less to set up a new account. And it's free. Not fake free. Forever free. So if you're looking to drive continuous improvement, if you're looking to avoid profit-eating mistakes, if you're looking to send cost packing, use Lojistic.
So, one thing I just want to share with the team, what Luke said there is absolutely true. The technology that we provide anyone is free. In a normal business climate, you have to buy something to get something. And what we've chosen to do is to give our technology away for free and with never having a commitment to buy anything. So regardless if you end up using our services for paid services, such as rates or auditing, if you choose you don't want to do that, use the technology forever, and we will never send you an invoice. So here's a couple of areas that we problem solve for. Shipping rates just continue to go up. And if you think about it, it's something that when a carrier says they take a 5.9% increase or a 6.9% annual increase, that is compounded year over year over year. And the next thing you know, you're at 40% or even higher. So these are things that we assist clients with. It just kind of goes along with the theme what we talked about. It's identifying where those costs are coming from, and the technology and or your strategic source program manager has the ability to identify those areas. The first thing that we would like to do is to identify, where you're at in this process. The only thing it requires from you is your login credentials. So I don't want anyone to think that this is a project. As far as the data gathering goes, it's you getting your administrative login credentials, connecting it to the business tool. So they're called the admin credentials for FedEx, UPS, DHL. If you happen to be using a different rate source, you can provide that information to your representative as strategic source. So if you're using like Worldwide Express or maybe another third-party rate provider, we're just going to need data. So in those cases, they're going to be needing some Excel files with the shipment level details in them. So once we get either your login credentials or your Excel files for us to do an evaluation, that's when we can do the free shipping analysis. And then what we do is we help you get better rates. And this is, and so now we're sitting on data. And now we're going to analyze that data and see, based on our FedEx Flex program, which is basically a GPO, a group purchasing organization, we can instantly connect our rates to your account. So if we can determine that there happens to be a 30%, 40%, and these are real numbers that have been proven with the strategic source team on the evaluations that they have done over the last few years. So all we do is we take your shipping analytics, we compare them to the rates that we have in place and determine what that savings opportunity is going to be for you. And that's across net discounts, surcharges, service level discounts, everything. And what comes along with that service is a free parcel audit refund recovery. So once the rates are in place and you're shipping, now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the carrier is billing you correctly. And the way we do that is through that free technology platform. So it's going to identify, file, and recover refunds on your behalf. And again, this is all done through automation. You don't do anything. It's just a value add. So this is a service that we normally bill for. But as long as you are using the FedEx Flex rates, we give this away for free. Now, let's say, for example, for whatever reason, because this service would require you at this time to move away from your current rate provider and move to Federal Express. But let's say, for example, you've had a bad experience with FedEx and you don't want to use the rates. Well, you can use our technology And if you want us to do an audit refund recovery, then that comes with a contingency with a minimum charge of so there's a minimum charge. I believe it's $29 a month, and or the contingency fee, whichever is greater. So if you just want your bills audited and recovered, you can use that, or it's free with the rates. So here's the assessment offer. Reduce FedEx rates with the association, and you get that free audit, as I mentioned, with the as long as you're on the rates. And these are the benefits to you. The percentages are quite high, and historically they have run in like the 30% range. And then you also have visibility to your data, and your data doesn't lie. So if there is areas of overspend, for example, if we see that your team is using express services in a zone, it could go ground. And for an example, I had a business review this morning with a client, and the client had about $130,000 in express services where the ground network would actually got there 2 days sooner. So they were using a service that was slower and more expensive. And the technology will identify where that's happening, how often it's happening, and how much it's costing you. And you can make more informed decisions with things like that. And there's a bunch of other points within your shipping data that there's opportunities for savings on. How do you qualify for the service? Well, you must have a net annual spend of $75,000 or greater, and less than 30% of your spend would have to be with Federal Express. As far as setting an expectation, it takes about 2 months from beginning to end, from that initial conversation to the end, to get you fully onboarded. So it's us working with our Federal Express representative to get the new rates attached, and that takes a little bit of time. So anytime I have to reach out to Federal Express and get anything done, I can only control the timelines that I commit to. But there are times where Federal Express falls behind on a few things, and that's why it's a 2-month onboarding. We've got, I would say this, the smallest client that I support right now is about $75,000 a year. And my largest client is $89.4 million of net spend a year. And then I have a bunch in the middle. And anytime I'm doing business reviews with clients, although I can't share prices because that's all confidential, I can share experiences. So if I've got a client that did something operationally to support them with mitigating their costs, and I see that's happening to you, I will share that information with you. And to get started, the only thing you need to do is contact your program manager at Strategic Source. I'm sure they're going to have happy to have a conversation with you. Freight's just a cost. Most companies don't have freight as a profit center. So if we can take costs out of it, maintain your service levels, or improve upon them, it's going to be a win for you guys. And that's me. I guess we could just open up to any questions.
Okay. Thanks, Rich. Right to the point, short, sweet presentation. So we're ready for Q&A. And the way to do that, everyone, there's a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Click on that, and you can ask any questions here of Rich, and then we'll bring Doug back on. But let's go with this question here. How do I get assigned a rep?
If you have an existing relationship, you might want to reach out to that rep. And if you don't have a rep, so let's say you've never used Federal Express, you need to contact 1-800-GO-FedEx and just let them know that you're signing up for an account, and you need to speak to someone regarding pickup times, maybe equipment or labels, printers, or whatever's needed. But that's where you go, 1-800-GO-FedEx.
And here's another, how do I get supplies and schedule pickups?
That will be through that representative. So when you call 1-800-GO-FedEx, they're not going to assign anyone to you immediately. They're going to have someone reach out to you. Once that person reaches out to you, um, you don't need to talk about rates to them because I'm going to be providing you with those rates. What you just say is, listen, I'm going to be being set up with an account, and I need to schedule pickups. You might have a different truck for express, a different driver for ground. Maybe you want to talk to them about labels. But yeah, any of that stuff would go through the local account manager.
All right, here's another. I see. I have ground and express packages. What should I do?
You'll have to set up two different pickups. Federal Express, the way they have their network designed today, now that might be changing. We've seen some communications where they're thinking about consolidating, similar to UPS. Because right now, UPS, they can pick up a one truck, one driver can pick up a ground and express package. Federal Express today, that requires two different pickups, one from a ground driver and one from an express driver. So that would have to be a scheduled pickup. Great question.
Okay.
Rich, this is Doug. In my experience over the years, it seems like price increases or rates seems to be adjusted around the first of the year for most of the carriers. Is that true? And if so, do we expect a price increase this coming January?
Oh, yes. It's like Santa. It comes around every year. And you may not want it, but they're going to give it. So it's an annual increase. It's a variable. And, the one thing they do is this. They'll when they make an announcement, and this goes for any carrier in the parcel space and or LTL carriers. It's not subject to just parcel. When they make an announcement of a 4.9, 6.9% increase, that's just what they call a general increase. Every client is affected differently. And on average, we see about, you can expect it's going to be more like an 11% increase.
Holy cow, that's... And what are, Doug again, what are fuel surcharges running right now?
The interesting thing about fuel, out of all the surcharges the carriers have, the fuel is the only one that's a variable that can actually go down. Now, to quantify the fuel is impossible. They have their fuel index. Nobody knows where it got created from. It's not tied to anything specifically. Each carrier's created their own. But right now, fuel is stabilized. Out of all the surcharges, that is the one that's stabilized.
And my another question here, I hate to keep hitting you with these, but is that at one point I know fuel surcharges could be negotiated. Is that true today?
It is true. That's correct.
Okay.
It used to be a sacred cow that they never touched, but that has changed just in the last 6 to 8 months.
Again, everyone can ask questions via the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Come straight into us. We would Rich would have the ability to see it right away. Here's one that came in. Who do I contact if I'm having issues, you or FedEx?
That would go, so if you're having pickup concerns or any concerns service related, that would go directly to your FedEx rep. If you think, I want you to think about Lojistic as this. We are the rate provider. So we are the ones that are setting up with rates as far as anything service related. That would all go through your local account manager.
Again, Doug, with another point of clarification, the service level that they're going to receive through you or with your partnership is really the same. There's really no degradation in service. The pickups are the same. The service levels are the same, but you're just managing the rates. Is that correct, Rich?
That is correct, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I don't see any further questions. So Doug, feel free to activate your webcam again and we can get ready to wrap.
Well, Rich, very helpful. I can tell you that we recommend, and we don't take compensation from Logistics or any other supplier, but we recommend Logistics in a number of cases because they are they are very adept, much closer to the transportation charges than we could be on our own or you could be on your own. The other benefit, of course, is that there are typically overcharges. Back when I was in corporate America many years ago, we did a lot of ground transportation, LTL, small package transportation, even though I worked for a major airline. And we had utilized companies like Rich's to go in and audit those bills and recover overcharges. So if there were extraneous charges or missed deliveries or things of that sort, those carriers owe you a refund. And this is a good way to have some peace of mind knowing that you've got a firm on the back end, not only helping you on front end pricing, but back end auditing as well. And a contingent approach in that regard is very, very common. And it seems like a fair trade-off because if you didn't do anything, you're not going to recover anything. And any company is going to make mistakes. They're going to have missed deliveries and so forth. So I heartily endorse the concept of companies like Rich to help you out. And so, Rich, thank you for your time today for a very informative session. If you are not a client of Strategic Source today and are interested, reach out to us at Chris Austin, our EVP of Sales and Marketing. And his phone number is 612-386-3898. Or if you want a copy of this presentation today, we're happy to send that on to you in a PDF format. We will have a copy or a live version of this up on our website, strategicsource.com, probably by tomorrow, maybe even before. So if you want to listen to this again, you certainly may. And I would just encourage you, too, that we have many different topics coming up here. I'm just looking at the schedule for January. We've got a number of different webinar supplier partners coming on to talk about aircraft finance and DMS systems and buy-sell within the dealership space. So if you're interested in any of those topics, just keep an eye out and we'll have a topic, I'm sure, that will meet your needs. But with that, let me just say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Thank you, Rich. And David, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you, Doug, and thank you, Rich, and everyone else. Thanks for attending. I'm going to bring up a post-session survey here. 2 quick questions before you leave. Love to get your feedback after spending about a half hour with us. Your feedback makes these sessions better. So again, we appreciate everyone's time. We look forward to you joining us on future webinars with Strategic Source. Have a great rest of the week, everyone.